Pretty much every box is checked for him. So we get into the second game, looking at draft, remaining on the same sides. Team China taking away Yumi from Kaiwing. I do like that ban because that is something that is still powerful to deal with and does make it a little bit more difficult for them to do anything early into the game to the bot lane.
Which does tend to result in a Milio ban as a response as well, right? It tends to be that handshake now where there is one, there is always going to be the other. So it could actually be a game that goes back towards those Nautilus Flex types of angles that we've seen from Team China, but the ban's not going to come through just yet. Again, a very specific ban away here from Hope, who was a monster.
Because that's what I was about to say. The Yumi might be banned, but then Lucian Nami is what you really are looking towards the spot lane for Hope and Iwandi, that they're very good at utilizing the Enchantress with Lucian. So taking that off the board, I'm actually expecting mostly the same bans here from Team Hong Kong China. I wouldn't be surprised. Jeez, hits the bench right now.
The adaptation that they have initially as well from Team China's side is Jack's not going to be a necessary ban. So a little bit of extra ammunition perhaps onto their blue side armor. When it comes to that first pick, they could consider things like the Cassante as a first pick if they want to go for another targeted ban. That's probably where I'm expecting Team China to go, is look towards that Cassante early, especially if you can flex it with mid lane. And that Jace is gone, so options start to grow. Yeah,
and seeing Vi as the final ban by Team China, not having to worry about that, is, like you said, the Jax is what they didn't have to worry about, and so they were able to slot that out, put Yumi in the ban instead. And I'm kind of looking towards what else do you leave open here as Team Hong Kong China. I usually look at this as red side. Sometimes when there's a lot of powerful picks, you leave as many open as possible, handshake that across the board. They take off Milio, which to me screams Cassante for Q.
Exactly right. Like the Milio kind of has to be that handshake, right? So Cassante, a very viable and logical first pick for Team China. Particularly into the hands of Q, who has played it twice already, now banned away in their third game. So it's going to be a 100% presence if that does get secured. And with that Milio gone, like highlighted much earlier, we start to go really down the list because Zeri's still there, Jinx is still there.
Okay.
But is it going to be like a Jinx Nautilus bot lane instead of the Lulus that are running around?
I mean, honestly, I think you just go for the tried and true for MM and Kaiwing, the Xayah Rakan.
Xayah Rakan, yep.
I think if it ain't broke, don't fix. That's how it works for me, especially when you have a Zeri on the other side, no Yumi to play around, no Milio to play around. Really, the Nautilus is kind of what you're fearing in that bot lane, but instead, they go for Aphelios. I'm wondering if it's going to be a Aphelios Lulu bot lane, Aphelios Nautilus. Nautilus really is screaming at me in this draft.
Yes, it is, and one of the big things for that is like a non-cleansable crowd control is something that is really crucial into someone like the Zeri that just skates around. So you kind of do want that Nautilus on your side. And he's going to be the first pick, so again, it's just going to be a cleanse from Hope. We can say that much for certain already. What goes with it is the question, given that Iwandi has this plethora of oddball enchanters. Besides the Janna has the Sona. We've seen Seraphine today. For all we know, it could be absolutely anything.
I'm kind of wondering how Janna does with Zeri. I'll be honest, don't really see that too often. Got a question mark pinged on that one. But the Maokai take here, I do like, and I'm kind of looking towards that Cassante as the final pick here.
Yeah.
Don't even need to worry about grabbing mid lane. Plus, even if Shanks isn't necessarily known for playing Cassante, does have that flexibility where you could put a mid lane into something like Annie.
Tristano,
but they decided to go for Tristano. That is very interesting, and to me, a bit of a disrespect there. Just saying, all right, you played this before, into Annie. I'm going to show you how it's done.
It's literally back-to-back series. He has picked what his opponent has picked in game number 2 and just said, anything you can do, I can do better. Of course, it wasn't the mid lane matchup in game number 1.
That's a Lee Sin.
That is a Lee Sin.
Oh.
And Kenny has gone for this Lee Sin. Sorry, it's a backwards order pick in my head.
I know. It kind of throws me off too.
Yeah, Kenny's locked in the Lee Sin. I always like Lee Sin. I feel like Zeri is one of those champions that you can play it into quite successfully as well, for the same logic as a Nautilus or a Vi, in that the kick can't be cleansed.
Yep.
It has to be like QSS flashed is the only way out of that one. So even then, I think that got removed. I'm not certain on that either way. I love the explosiveness of the Lee Sin.
Flash, but it mostly just stops that when you land, you get stunned.
Yeah, right. But it's an explosive pick, right? I don't know if you're a jungler, but I'm always a big fan of Lee Sin, full stop. 2 carries on the enemy team means that a lot of beacons that you look towards, and the Maokai's never going to have kill threat on you.
No, never. It's really good, but it's all about how you play the mid lane. Kenny Chan and Med are going to have to tag team. Annie, Lee Sin, very powerful, very explosive duo. especially with Shanks playing Tristana, something that is going to be low range early into the game, that is heavily punishable, that is going to be on you. The onus is on how you play into it, not how Shanks plays.
Absolutely right. Shanks has the time of his life if you make mistakes, that much is for certain. If not, though, it can be quite annoying to deal with. Just looking at these final bans as well, the Lulu and Cassante do get attacked. Again, Lulu, kind of that outstanding support that would be looked at to go with the Zeri if you wanted an Enchanter. Maokai enables that to happen. Aurelia going to be taken off the cards here. They've done their research, perhaps. This is not something that we want to deal with, especially if they're going to slam like a Gnar fourth, perhaps, or something for Cube.
We're dredging up the bottom of the barrel here. Everyone is going for whatever they can possibly. We haven't seen a Leona yet in this tournament, but here it is, locked in for Kaiwing in the bot lane to really give them that early game. To me, Team Hong Kong China are saying, we are about the early game. We are about trying to win immediately, put pressure onto Team China out of the gates.
I'm so curious about this last pick, though. More than anything else, is it like a Tristana flex to top lane? Is that why you look at an Aurelia ban? Is it a Gnar, perhaps, for Cube, something that he definitely can play and enjoys? Because those are two picks that Aurelia would have a good time into. Okay.
Jax, okay.
Just going to be the Jax. So wants to go for the carry this time around. The rare carry with Gragas still available. Slam that Jax angle.
I was about to say, Gragas is just pretty obvious here. You see Jax on the other side. I like seeing something more unique, but it just makes too much sense. Gragas is really strong into Jax. Neutralize a lot of that ability to split push, to try to put the pressure in the side lanes that Team China have set up here. They have a lot that they can utilize. They have this 1-3-1 with a Jax and Tristana, especially with the Tristana being mid.
Yeah.
But if you have something like Gragas in the side lane, you can't really do much to him. He's got to heal up. You're going to clear out the wave. You're going to just be like, all right, cool. One of these lanes is not ever going to push.
Yeah, those side lane towers are going to be devastated if you make any mistakes with that 1-3-1. But yes, on the other side of the coin here as well for Team Hong Kong China, the Lee Sin works quite nicely with the Gragas. They've got that mixed damage composition now as well, mingled throughout the comp overall. They have their engage in bot lane, which I think is comfort for them. Hook Champion's definitely a hallmark of Frank Esports, and now Kaiwing in particular down here. So Hook Champions, Leona, they go hand in hand. Leona into the Rakan as well, something that is very favorable for Leona most of the time. And I think this is a pretty good kill lane for the 2v2 in bottom.
But to me, I'm looking at like the differences between the two teams and what their identities really are. And you had asked, hey, Team Hong Kong China, maybe the game plan is try to win early, quickly, fast, get 25-minute game, burn this out of the woodwork where Team China can't bounce back. Well, Team China are saying, hey, you know what? If we can survive that early game, we have setup. We have team fight capabilities with double marksman, 2 engagers in your jungle and support, and then a side lane pressure from Jax.
Yeah, I mean, one team wants to be ahead by 25. The other one starts to become ahead by 25. Definitely kind of playing out how I kind of wanted it to go to from Hong Kong China. That much is for certain. Leona Annie's so dangerous as a duo. Annie Lee Sin as well. I'm expecting skirmishes often. I'm expecting a lot of early objective control from Team Hong Kong China. If they want any hope here against Team China, do not let them get ahead freely. Look for those skirmishes, force those situations.
5 minutes into the game, I want 5 kills from you, Team Hong Kong China.
Minimum.
Minimum. That is your assignment. I am giving you homework here in this game. Play aggressively right out of the gates, while Team China, don't let that happen. Just play passively. Say, all right, you want to look for this play? All right, we're just going to hang by our turrets.
Just be careful giving people homework. Sometimes they don't do it, you know?
Yeah,
you just got to be careful, mate.
But then they get a 0.
But they have to, yeah. They have to if they want to be successful. If they want to pass in this game, mate, they have to do that homework. They need to be aggressive. First and foremost as well, as we hop into the game number 2 here between China and Hong Kong China, we spoke about the early warding last time. It was a big effort, honestly, to get this ward out. It was Shanks that placed it as the Raptors were spawning effectively. But this time you're staring down an Annie that can stun you and a Lee Sin with a Sonic Wave. Pretty dangerous to walk into.
And look at Med too. I love this position from him. Making sure that once they are spotted going for this, could get the double stun, but they have to call down solo kill first. And actually are going to fall back, not look for the play. A little worried about what could happen early into the game. They could still have that flash in with the stun from Med.
Nothing happening just yet, though. Keep in mind, this could be a 3v3 for the Raptor camp. Cube, while he's a Jax, has got the possibility of a 3-man counter-strike with the flash there, so they'll choose to respect it.
Okay.
And the interesting thing for me here, right, is last game it was Shanks just walking and sneaking a ward. This time around they recognize how dangerous doing that is. So they bring the whole family.
They just say, all right, we are ready to skirmish early into the game. Are you prepared for this team, Hong Kong, China? Are you willing to risk it for the biscuit? Not even 2 minutes into the game.
And they were not. They had to back away. So time wasted here from Hong Kong, China. It also means a solo start from the Lee Sin, who will be fine.
Oh,
just has to
Lee
use
Sin,
the
yeah.
smite right a little bit earlier. It's not going to be as fast in tempo. And the other big thing as well is that Team China gets vision, so they know if you're going to be crossing to that red buff type of start here for Team Hong Kong, China. So they will also have a follow-up ward even at the red buff itself.
As top lane, Cube was able to get that level 2 spike first, utilizing a little bit of pressure here onto Gragas, but whenever we see this matchup, it generally is a handshake lane. You're going to heal up every time the Jax comes in as Gragas, because that's just how Gragas is. He has insane healing. Well, Jax is not really going to be too threatened because he has Undying as well, and he's going to heal up every time he jumps in.
And generally speaking, though, Jax will be the aggressor in that lane, so you'll see the Jax enact the trade and the Gragas diffuse that one. Look for some W auto attacks on waves like you're about to see, and just try and AoE pressure. Does tend to mean that the Jax gets the push early, though, just because he is using those AoE stuns on waves that stops them attacking. Ooh. Double knock up bottom.
taken low as well, even though they were able to get the root back onto Iwandi. Poked out so low so early on. It's going to be threatening with Hong nearby. And always look for this early gank, even though Kenny Chan's nearby.
We'll see if Kenny Chan gets spotted. It doesn't look like he will, so the counter gank actually on here. So, it does seem like there is a ward that sees him.
Yeah, they're rotating around. Will definitely be spotted out here. But as Hong, the Maokai is going to have to be careful around that. Decides to go for the Bramble Smash with the Twisted Advance. Going to get a lot of damage with the drop jump. Ooh. But it's a nice stun. But it's a great engage from Iwandi on Ahmed with no escape because he flashed for the stun and gave up first blood to Hope. And that is devastating. Hope getting an early kill here as Zeri already winning out this lane is going to continue to be a force.
Yeah, that is a cull start for both mid and AD. Of course, purchase the cull now. And a free lane that starts to build from this. And an early kill makes that so much easier for Hope. And the star of the show, as we just panned away from it, has been Iwandi hitting these double knockups, right? Stopping any kind of counterplay. Gets to the fight in really short order as well in the river. But meanwhile, top lane, Cube with some demons to contend with.
All right, Cube, too low. You were playing way too greedy. Though he does flash nicely there. Then layer up the Sonic Wave with the belly flop.
Yeah, maybe a little bit early on the body slam, maybe a little bit late on the Sonic Wave, but either way, the flash usable from Cube does stop any kind of kill from happening there. However, it is still going to be a pretty favorable wave state pushed in by the Gragas as bot fighting again.
Yeah, but look at Hope. He is barely touched in this one, and he is not deterred. Getting the flash for flash trade. And as Hope, you're going to feel powerful. You already have a good lead. You're forcing your bot lane to have to recall so early into the game. As the wave is crashing, you're going to continue to get more of a lead.
Really nice preemptive flash, though, from MM to make sure that he doesn't get flashed on himself. Recognize that that was a possibility and ends up just becoming a trade instead of a death. Does still mean a massive wave does
I was about to say, it's
crashing.
barely a trade when you're losing a first plate this early.
It's a summon a spell trade in a losing situation, so he loses even harder. Top lane, however...
The solo kill doesn't have flash. Getting knocked back by the Bramble Smash as well. We'll get the double knockback with the body slam. Gonna be fine as Gragas waiting for the wave to push back towards you.
Yeah, just harassing Cube as best he can, right? Ultimately, the teleport and flash aren't available, so no choice but to help out. Is Hung coming up here? I don't know if we highlighted this yet, but it is the first strike on this Maokai, looking for that higher DPS build potentially. A bit more AP oriented when
Makes
you have
sense,
a Jax and a Tristana, right? You kind of don't have much of a choice there. But so far has been able to find a fair bit of money just from that route.
Well, and it also works because you're expecting this Gragas not to go for the tank build. You're not really too worried about much resistances on the other side outside of Kaiwing.
Yeah, which makes it devastating for objective setup, right? You go for this Drake, Tib is going to be summoned. Taste of his own medicine is Shanks there. Will be okay, but still a little bit of health missing. And Hung basically is a laner.
Yeah, but Hung has to be careful because Kenny-chan was on the dragon, took that. He'll instead go mid lane to try to help out since Shanks doesn't have TP to get back into this lane. Is going to be forced to stay in this lane as it crashes.
Junglers are Vin Diesels in this game, just a bunch of babysitters everywhere.
Man, I haven't heard that reference in a while.
That's
a movie I kind of forgot about as Iwandi forgets where he is at for a second.
Me too, until now.
That's kind of weird how those kind of things just pop in your head just randomly.
Just the word babysitter comes in your mind and an image of the movie.
It also shows our age because I doubt anyone that is under like 20 years old even knows what that is.
So none of these players
I
would be fully aware of what we're discussing. CS difference in bot also huge as well. It just continues to happen. You look down there, these little trades, not just kills though, ends up being 15 CS with these trade timings, and I think that's the biggest factor that separates Team China's 2v2 from everyone else. They know when to fight so well.
They have so much power that is gained just from them by themselves that allows Hong and Shanks, since we highlighted that before, how good they are about being a duo. They're enabled to do that because they never have to worry about bot lane. Hope and Iwandi will get leads and control themselves. This frees up Hong to always focus around Shanks.
And this is against a duo, right? This is a caliber of opponent that you would expect to be quite powerful, and yet Hope and Iwandi still look this good. It speaks volumes towards their actual ability. Gragas ultimate puts him under.
Does, but it's going to be the Grandmaster Might back from Q. So he'll be fine. A trade of ult for ult. Kind of it's the expected matchup where you kind of are threatening. You're testing the waters as the Gragas into Jax, the Jax into Gragas. Can you get away? Can you be risky with the play? No? All right, we both back off.
Like we said before, right, the Jax is pushing. Always going to be at that risk, so it is just a mind game that happens every single wave. Merc Tread's going to be picked up by the Jax, whoever helps out a fair chunk with that wave. Same thing with mid lane with the anti-tibbers that you've seen drop. Mercury Treads found once again. Not a lot from this Lee Sin though, speaking of things that have been found. Hasn't really found his way into any skirmishes or big plays. It really was Team China that were bullying him and pushing him around, looking for those counters.
As Med is getting jumped on by Shanks with the Buster Shot as well. Takes a lot of damage for his worries mid lane.
If there is one thing that we can say for certain from Shanks so far, is that he likes his opponent being at half health, regardless of the cost.
And there he goes. He's at half health, but he's in a better position as they're looking to jump back with the explosive charge on top of Med. Bounce back as well. Candy-chan has to just watch as his mid laner falls easily to Team China.
Tibbers has to get very angry at that situation. Shanks is going to take that one down. They'll continue to push in this wave, and twice now we have seen Kenny-chan go for these ganks, and twice now we have seen the Sonic Wave not connect after the crowd control. It was a jump buffer in mid lane. Yes, engage bottom.
Just a bit of an engage. Solar Flare will connect, get the cleanse out of Hope, but the re-engage on MM burns him down easily as Hope, look at him, playing with fire. He was on fire, but he knows the power they have as a duo.
Really well communicated from Team China, really well organized as well. You kind of feel this Leona's going to engage. You feel this one's going to be a little bit more committal because the ultimate is there, but they just turn and
Kenny-chan hoping for anything, but look at Iwandi. Iwandi making sure that Hope has no worries at all.
They have broken his ankles. They have made it look so clean here. Fantastic W from Iwandi in the first place to calculate the flash had to come through, and then just dodging out on that Dragon's Rage. Oh wow, this bot lane is just so good.
Oh, it is.
It's just so good.
And the thing is, like, we've been focused on Hope because obviously the damage dealer gets all this attention. This game, Iwandi has been voting on a clinical showcase of how to play Rakan into a bad matchup. They're like, all right, you've used your Zenith Blade, I can go in. Every single time you misstep, I will punish you and make sure I am spoon-feeding Hope. He is getting every crumb. He's just like, please here, eat up, get fed, my good AD carry.
And all of these entrances to fights have been perfectly timed as well. The big thing here is Team China says, just go, right? They pick their timing perfectly. They wait for all the crowd control to be used. Cleanse hits at the same time. And they just get it done very successfully.
Gaming that, and here is really where I want to just like, all right, you don't get to play Kenny-chan. You even flash for it immediately. Grand entrance.
Yeah, very nicely done. Predicts it, right? And then they turn. The 90-degree angle split as well from Hope. Each individually do their part. Fantastic little outplay there across the board. And this bot lane is absolutely unleashed in the road to Asia Games.
3-0 on Zeri. 11 minutes into the game. Yeah, I think Triforce has already been completed as well, and now you're having a fight where Shanks dives in onto Skywing, getting all that damage as well. They try to mitigate that with the Tibbers. They've got the stun, almost throwing back, but guess who's here? It is Hope, the carry, 5-0.
And they even take out the Tibbers just moments before Iwandi falls, thanks to that stopwatch. 1 health to his name. Gonna have some honey fruit, get some health back, but just a well-deserved recall. And Team China now 6-0 is the scoreline. They are sitting very pretty in game number 2 of this best of 3. And remember, we said they were the scaling team.
Yeah.
And look at the time in the game, and look at the score difference.
I'm pretty sure Team China heard that and said, ha, you think we're scaling? We're scaling maybe 2 minutes into the game, and then we've already got our power spike.
Oh, they've been scaled for 2 games. They just wanted to show it off. Looking so good. Looking so clean. But another skirmish attempt from MM. You don't want that.
No, you don't. He has Triforce. I said this before, MM.
You can't handle that smoke.
You can't fight him anymore.
Too dangerous. Shows him, puts him back in his place. Flash used.
And you were the one aggressing, too.
Yeah, you chose this. 40 CS down to Trinity Force up.
That's what Hope is saying in alt chat. It's like, you chose that fight. I did not want violence. You wanted violence.
You made this for you.
And now I'll take down plates. You get nothing. I have a nearly a 50 CS lead here in this bot lane with 5 kills. I have 650 gold bounty at 13 minutes into the game.
Yeah. It's going to be tough to make an argument for who the Audi Super A player is over the ADC of Team China again. I am absolutely on board with you. Early announcement from us
fed him.
Is
this like all the other games? Hope was doing a lot of this on his own. This game he has been spoon-fed by Iwandi.
I completely agree, but I think it's going to come down to who does it better in a team fight when it happens. We're just going to look
at Rakan.
Yeah, like so he has the space to be an MVP.
Exactly.
He has the space for that highlight.
He does, and with how far ahead this bot lane is as well, it will really be down to Hope and Iwandi on who's going to be able to get the Audi Super A star of the game. But we're all going to have to see on whether or not Team Hong Kong China can mount a defense. Unfortunately, with the comp that needed to play aggressively early into this game, and you can see where the gold is, that is double. That is nearly double the gold that Hope has.
Hung has found solo kill down here as well, so look at this Gragas. Shank's going to come in.
He's trying to spoon feed his marksman, and that being Shanks in the mid lane, getting a lot of damage on a solo kill, and they've got reset, so they can jump in with the flash, even though you heal up. Flash with a smite as well. Sapling charging down.
He walks away, he throws the sapling and leaves Tog.
Okay, 2v4. Hey, Iwandi, we asked, how is he going to play in this when he gets kicked back under the turret so they can pick up the kill onto Hope as well. Spoon feeding more, 6-0. Med has to get in with the flash to get a shutdown off of Hope.
And a big shutdown does go their way, but meanwhile winning on the other side of the map, the 7k gold lead that still exists starts to stretch. That initial kill that goes onto the Gragas results in Turret's bottom lane as well. They find what they can. They find what they have to for Team Hong Kong China.
Oh! Iwandi.
Oh, the timing.
I like that one. Utilizing the Grand Entrance to its fullest, the AoE that you have it now. Kenny-chan, you're in a bad position. That is a TP, and that is Cube on Jax looking for this one. He's like, where are you going? Huh? Mind games here. You got Tibbers, but I have the position. You have the recall in this bush.
This Rakan, though, if you step up.
They spotted him out. He gets the recall. Barely! Barely, that last tick.
That could have gone so many ways. It could have been Iwandi overexerting himself and falling down before the fight happens. It could have just been a trade. We watch this trade top one more time. Iwandi uses Hope as a springboard, but Hope enacts this. Doesn't get stunned by the Leona ultimate, but ultimately it's a 3-man charm. Now I will say Iwandi going back to Hope gives Kenny-chan the perfect kick, but it is a flash straight out and then the follow through there. So nice engage, something that Team China looked for. Solo kills, just chucking abilities. He wants to make sure they work. They all work for 0 damage.
Do they really work? It's like a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it. Does it actually?
There was a lot of people hearing those trees.
Yeah.
They all watched it live in HD.
Yeah, but I don't know if they actually worked because none of them landed. And that's the biggest problem there for Team Hong Kong China. You got to land these, especially onto Hope, because even if you kill them once, he's 6-1. He's got a lot of gold under his belt, and he can easily topple these structures, even if you have members there, to try to clear away the minions.
Med no flash, any harder to play in this situation. Maokai ultimate's going to come through. Just going to make them clump together a little bit more. And Cube, you can see threatening with a very wide flank here. It's just playing mind games with Hong Kong China. I think this Herald summon might actually dissuade them from even wanting to defend this. So tough to do if Cube stays.
Yeah, you got to bail out of that one. Just leave it alone. You more want to deny the second charge because that's going to be devastating here.
Oh.
They're early into the game looking for the pull, but Kai Wing has no follow-up. Nobody wanted to go with him because Iwandi created so much space on the other side that nobody could re-engage, and now they've taken out an inhibitor. Well, Shanks where are you going, buddy? This is the wrong base. But he's like, I don't care. This is my base. I'm conquering everything, even if I'm taking low, looking for Med with the Buster Shot away from Solo, so they're going to go back and crack an inhibitor at 17 minutes into the game.
I'm going to be honest with you, that stopwatch from Med may have saved the entire game, may have saved the Nexus, because if that kill comes through,
yeah, it's game.
That could just be game. Instead, Team China is going to go back. They have no choice this time. The respawn time is rather just a little bit too quick. And watch this replay one more time. Kaiwing fully respects the engage. The flash E ult combo, right? He did his part, but the follow-up isn't there. So just too far forward from him on his own part. But this is also one of those situations where you are 10,000 gold down 16 minutes in.
Yep.
What do you do if not try to engage and find a miracle? Find that needle in the haystack.
Because what else is going to happen, right? You're going to lose the game? Well, you'd rather lose while doing things.
That's already happening.
Yeah, exactly. Just go for the play. Look for it. Unfortunately, the biggest problem there was Iwandi. On that Rakan, nobody even wanted to go near him. They're like, all right, if we even try to engage with Kaiwing, we're all going to die because he's going to get quickness, get us all charmed, and it's going to be follow-up.
That live win percentage speaking volumes, 90% to 10%. Hung going to come in here.
Kenny Chan.
Cube engaging, thank you.
We'll get that, but Cube now by himself. Stunned up for a long time, even with the Grandmaster's might. Not enough resistances, but getting the double stun there with the TP behind. Look at Hope in the base, though. You go for this play. What does Hope gain? Does he actually just backdoor? That's why they got a TP back in.
Teleport's going to be
keep
canceled.
That alive, but it's canceled, like you said. They don't stop it.
It's just going
Have you seen a backdoor this early into the game? I don't think I have, because they look for the re-engage and they get the flashes out of Kenshin and Med away, but they both die to the explosive charge out of Shanks. Wow, all the time it was Hope inside of the base, making sure that nobody can stop them. They're TPing in. Rusty, they're looking for the game now. They want to end this one. Re-engage. The Cats does not do enough damage to Hope and Shanks. And with two marksmen on the Nexus, the TP's in. This is Team China winning under 20 minutes yet again. Dominating here in the road to Asia Games.
Dominating is the best word for it.